Remember that we were railroaded into a cocoa industry that came from outside here into this country just a couple of years ago, several years down the road. And they morphed into something called SVG cocoa. And now SVG cocoa like it gone in a hole. Nobody can find it. You know, these whole things seem to have very little sustainability. So we now have to build a different system with the real people. That is why this ITEL Fest is so important in many ways that people ain't even see it. To start using festivals like these to make the connections between the market, the consumer, the market, and the producer, and fill all those whatever gaps appear there and needs, and make it a oneness which is sustainable. A oneness. Yes, that is what we have to do. That is one of the important things of this ITEL Fest. And we're going to nice it up. And I'm going to nice it up. Yes. And with stations like Bayhill and Cancardiradio, we're going to even nice it up even more going forward. So use this week, use this time between now and the next program to plant all the underground crops, which were, if you're growing just it, not just for the ITEL Fest, but you're growing it for your use and for other things, the local market, like you're growing beets, beet is an underground crop, right? Okay? Anything you're planting for even a longer term, like tanyas or ginger or turmeric, all these things, this is the week, a beautiful week to plant them in, because look at the weather. And you should have been preparing the place a little before, but even that, you still have time to do that. And as I said in a program before, I'm going to say it again, add active organic matter to your soil. Active organic matter is well-cured manures or composted products which have a fairly high microbial count in it. Nothing that will see with the eye, but from the time you smell it, and then you get that nice smell, you know it good. Okay? Put that in your soil before you use any liquid fertilizer or anything, because liquid fertilizers are good, but you see that organic matter, active organic matter in the soil, when these microbes, the more organic matter you put in, you feed the microbes there, and they start to multiply and make what we call mycelium and other things in the soil. And these are the strands, these are the highways and byways, the infrastructure between the nutrients in the soil and the inside of the plant, the muscles of the plant, the bones, the tissues of the plant, what the plant there, so that I and I could eat. That is how the health goes. So make sure you do it clean and up full. Okay? So that is what you do in this week. Plant something, people. Plant something. Okay? Plant and transplant something. Fertilize, harvest all crops. Okay? You're going to plant some, you have a couple short coconuts, or even the semi-dwarf coconuts. No, wait there, no system, we're doing it yourself. Brother or sister who have some good coconuts, semi-dwarf coconuts. They don't go too tall, they don't go too short. They're not the water nuts itself, they're the ones that you use to get the real coconut, dry coconut to do the pastries and these sort of things, and to cook the ITEL food. It's never too late to plant one of these things. This is the week, plant one. You will harvest, and your two come after, you will harvest more. So you plant it for the present, the medium term, and the long term for the future. Do something. Do something. Plant for the young and the coming and the grand and the great grand to come. do something. Okay? So we're making it big for the ITL first, plant something. And to help I plant something, we always ask Indra to give I some lyrics so that people will know exactly, have a broader idea of what to plant.
Bang bang biddy bang 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 bang. Bang 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 bang. The race they call us 50 is for those who will enjoy till the end, till the end. Some try lead you astray, seek wisdom from today, my friend. My friend, they're crying food shortage, and things are getting dread in the rain. Yeah, hey, hey. Don't let it get in your head, man. Don't only live by bread, but by the word. That's what he said. Put on your armor, trot along. Become a farmer, plant up for the land. Don't let time go to waste. Every day make a way. Grow food and garden. Plant cassava, green banana, mango, cocoa, and sweet potato. Tomato, strawberry, herbs, ginger, moringa. Corn and breadfruit, shadow, baby, arrow. Veggie provisions and all kind of fruit. May the work of your hands flourish and go far. May the work of your hands be blessed and prosper. And as the plants they grow, we grow in same way. New mercy, fresh every day, with time, sun, and rain, and energy. The plants they will thrive, and we shall reap the bounty. Don't be a slave to the system. Renew your mind daily. Plant cassava, green banana, mango, cocoa, and sweet potato, sourdough, strawberry, curd, ginger, moringa, corn and breadfruit, shadow, baby, arrowroot, veggie provisions and all kind of fruit. May the work of your hands flourish and go far. May the work of your hands be blessed and prosper. We want coconut water, beautiful sunflowers, hibiscus tea and some thirsty please. Planted tomato, berries many colors, watermelon, sweet pepper, cherry and guava. The guava, the guava. Plant cassava, green banana, mango, cocoa, and sweet potato, sourdough, strawberry, herbs, ginger, moringa, corn and breadfruit, shadow, baby, arrowroot, veggie provisions and all kind of fruit. May the work of your hands flourish and go far. May the work of your hands be blessed and prosper. May the work of your hands be blessed and prosper.
Of your hands, be good and prosper, flourish and prosper. Yes, I. Now, we're going to cover a couple happenings in this part of the program going up here. Okay, very important. The OECS ministers, you know the OECS is, the Eight Caribbean, the Leeward Islands and Windward Islands together, Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. Ministers and technical staff of agriculture met for a special meeting right here in SVG on May the 2nd. They met at Mayor's Hotel. That's out in the near to Diamond side out there, okay? And big up to my Antigua and Rastafari brethren who represented the Minister of Agriculture in Antigua. The Rasta high up, man. Right up there. Without Rasta in presence, nothing ain't gonna happen. Yes, it was chaired by Honorable Lennox Andrews of Grenada. And the focus of the meeting was advancing regional agricultural production and strengthening food security in line with the challenges of climate change and external trade and economic policies. You see, this is the time now. This is the crunch time now. This is the time when the old talk called agriculture, the thing of the past, get licks for, he get hit for six sixes and over out of the park. Nobody want to hear it. Even them who come up with it now, they want to see it much more to hear it. Because the reality of life hit them now. Food, especially ITEL, is the most important thing on earth right now. With $1 trillion and you have no food, you will starve to death because you can't eat the money. Anyway, Director General of the OECS, Commissioner Dr. Dedicus Jules, big up to you, my brother, big up to you. The only one in the one in the gathering there who has the most experience and knowledge of what real development is. Yes, sir. He said OECS countries currently importing 90%, approximately 90% of their food. And this food this is largely influenced by the side of their tourism sector. Now, what you're going to hear coming out of this meeting is important, but what is more important is that it's not new. A lot of it have been said right here on this program, on these two radio stations over the last 4 years. So I thank you people in the region, especially the government people, for listening to this program. We know you've been listening to it a long time, right? We haven't charged you for using the ideas, but we charge you with using the ideas so that you could make them be implemented properly for the benefit of all the people in the region. And then I will benefit from that. Okay. That is why you have to listen to Bayhill and Cancardiradio, because they carry the most important program in the entire OECS. Right? Yes. So here he's saying that, and he's starting from the truth. He's starting from the truth to build the order, to put the balance in it, to get the harmony, to apply the law, to make the whole thing is done morally, and for people to get the justice. 7 basic pillars of I original people. So he's saying right here now that 90% of the food in the OECS countries, especially those with the bigger tourism sectors, is because of tourism. Okay? Right? They have to import free food to feed the people who come in as tourists and other things. You could imagine that? This is the system that we have to mash up, and build a system in the region where the people who come here, where we harmonize and put the balance in it. That's it. And the order in it. As tourists, and we welcome them. But when you come here, you eat what we produce first. The majority of what you eat is we produce. That is part of your tourism. That is part of your cultural awareness when you come here. You ask for your gluten-free teas. You ask for your island green cocoa. You ask for your Kenai buns and whole wheat, whatever it is, and so on. These are the things you eat here. You ask for our farmers who grow in our locally grown sweet potato. Whatever it is locally grown, right here. Our spice. You ask for them so that more of the tourist dollar stays in the country. Right now, it's only a few cents of the tourist dollar staying here. And when they stay here, they don't even stay with the small people. They stay with the bigger people. So this whole idea of pushing tourism without agriculture is a total waste of time. Total waste of time. Waste of time. And we wonder how people with so many things behind the name and in front of the name, by the side the name, could waste so much of a country's time. Seems like it's a deliberate policy anyway. Anyway, we're going forward. So what did the loving brother Didicus Jules, Dr. Didicus Jules say? He said, shifting from food security to food sovereignty, we said this up to last week, is essential to reducing exposure to the trade disruptions. Exactly, 100% correct. You shift from food security. Food security could mean that you have money to buy your food, and who you're buying food have the food to sell you, and they could sell you. That is part of security. But food sovereignty, because that could also break down and have things. Food sovereignty is when you could grow your own food because you have your own planting material. You're not dependent on anyone. And I want to give you an example now of moving from sovereignty to security, which has caused a lot of economic problems right here in this country. Is the cannabis situation where up to several years ago, local people locally had their own seed supply. They don't have to buy no seed from outside, local seed. But with the combined destruction of Big Sam up, Uncle Sam up north, and these people in the region, political people in the region here, in the last 30 years, 35 years, they mash up our local seeds. So right now, our sovereignty in that gone. We have to rebuild it now. And the security now is very shaky because the cost of the seed from outside is prohibitive to many people. But we'll go into that in another program. So what you're saying, what the gentleman is saying now is that shifting from food security to food sovereignty is essential to reducing exposure to trade disruptions from anything like random set of tariffs here or some raw rumors of war or whatever it is, or the people that will start sending you genetic material that you don't want because it's not healthy. These are the things he's saying. So we now have to make sure that, and we already had that in particularly in our root crops. Particularly in our root crops, and we have to stick there and we have to keep away from a lot of times from these fancy ideas that these people from way out yonder who want to tie we up 1 and 2 times come with the tissue culture. Our people had a different way of culturing our tissues, put it that way. Because our old people, and it's not a matter of hurry, it's a matter of security and getting even better results. We'll take one tanya head and cut it into small bits, and they know how to cut it, and put it in a cool, dry area somewhere, and let every bit grow a sprout and eye. They do that with yams. Okay? They know how to cut the sweet potato vines and when to harvest the sweet potato vines. Like now, this time of the moon is when you harvest in sweet potato, this phase, sweet potato vines to plant a different crop, another field. And that is what we have to go forward to and use organic products all through the system to rebuild that ital, that healthiness in the food. And that's where we stand different than other people, outstanding, and regain our sovereignty. We had sovereignty here in Pigeon Peas because every person who come up in a house where, people who older than, especially people who older than 50 years, know that their parents and their grandparents used to have dry peas from last year crop to plant this year crop, and from this year crop to plant next year crop, and have them properly. sorted out and properly aired out. We have to get forward into the same, what they call heirloom plants to get our okra and so going well. So when you have a good variety of okra, you save those seeds to plant the next crop and you keep going all the time. This is where you have this sovereignty because you now don't have to depend on sending out there to buy any seed where you don't know where it's coming from. We had that with our 6-week beans. We lose those beans. But there are other beans now that Cardi have developed in the region. We have to get some of that, bulk it up, and keep it, and make sure that we spread it out in the communities. This is how we have to go. The same thing with the corn. We have to keep our people and our system away from GMO corn. Even though we have to go to the Mexican embassy, where it is in the OECS, and link with them, and link to get to their farmers and their system to get some of their ITAL corn they have down there, bring it here to grow. And try it out in different areas because the same corn might be a little different in a different part of St. Vincent and Grenadines. But still ITAL. That is where we have to go. So, Dr. Jules, you're completely correct. Shifting from food security to food sovereignty is essential to reducing exposure to trade disruptions. So what happened after that? The ministers agreed to develop, they agreed that development must go beyond production increases and requiring a system-based approach that incorporates transportation, packaging, standards, standard support, and farmers' assistance. And I will add here, that is what they think, but I will also add to that. Remember when you come on this station, you know, and I hope when you get it that you, especially those in government and those here, you patronize by giving some business to Bayhill, because in Bayhill you getting these ideas. And Cancardiradio. I would add development, training support, and financing for farmers. That is what they need. Because you have all these things and the farming family is not developed in terms of training, support, and financing support. The shipping will sail. We can't link the golden anchor to the silver chain. And we have to do that, as what Dr. Adams used to say, right? We have to do that. So the decisions taken at the meeting are these, in brief. 3 new pillars for resilience to autonomy. A framework focusing on local production. Now we holding the feet to the fire this thing, you know. A framework focusing on local production, regional trade, and strategic self-reliance with an implementation timeline from 2025 to 2035. So they're looking at 10 years now. Well, we know that this, once adopted, has to be implemented by any government in office. So whether some of them still in office or they're not in office, we holding whoever they are to this thing. And we running with it too. We're not depending on them. But they have their role to play, and I have our role to play. So a framework focusing on local production, regional trade, and strategic self-reliance with an implementation timeline from 2025, this is this year, to 2035, just up the road. They are going to develop and reintroduce agriculture and fisheries insurance scheme. And I hope that in doing so, the people and their organizations, being the farmers and the fish folk, and the people in the agriculture sector, not just the farmers, because you have traders who call themselves tropicals, I call them traders, and you have the transporters, you have an insurance scheme so everyone could participate. The other thing is scaling up he advised, the meeting took this advice, this decision, scaling up sweet and white potato production. Scaling up sweet and white potato production. Same thing that we said either one or two programs ago. That the people, that we in St. Vincent have a right to be expanding the production of both types of potato. Never mind, a lot of people claim that the Irish potato or the white potato is less nutritious than the sweet potato. That could be true. But given the history of our people and given the market, the size of the market that consumes this thing, remember, what he said when he started is that 90% of our food is imported and a lot of it goes to feed the tourists and the people who come in here. So a lot of people who come in here still want to eat the white potato chips. Okay. So what? No problem. We do it for you instead of bringing it from outside. Because more of the money will stay here and we will grow a healthier potato for you. So this is something I support. Scaling up sweet and white potato production. The training programs will be implemented across member states to increase local food availability. Training programs will be implemented across member states to increase local food availability. The other point, very interesting one, decision. Strategic partnerships with Africa to boost production of trade in select commodities. Now this fits right into the two things that I'm going to be speaking about just now. One, the linkage and the visit of my brethren from, my trader brethren from Barbados here, which is scheduled for early next week, and the mission of that. And two, the rally that is going to be held tomorrow, led by Rastafari Community of St. Vincent and Grenadines, 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock tomorrow, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. tomorrow in Kingston. A rally to support the activities and the work of leader Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso. We'll talk about that a little later. So here now, when he says strategic partnerships with Africa to boost production of trade in select commodities, that's a good move because we just an ocean away, just an expanse of water away, right over across it there. Right. It says other decision taking. Flagship agricultural interventions 2025-2027. Flagship agricultural interventions 2025-2027, including a regional food buffer stocks, digital food sovereignty dashboard, agro small micro enterprise financing. Island, I hope they're checking people like the island. That is why ITELFest is such a destination event. And you come there and you see all these small, hardworking entrepreneurs, agripreneurs, and they're not begging for anything because they don't play blood, sweat, and tears generations ago. So in terms of justice, you look at some of these people and say, yes, you see going green over there? We have to big up that business there and put some money in it so that the people in it could realize their full potential when they add what they have and their efforts to it. So don't just talk the talk here, walk the walk. Agro small micro enterprise financing, well needed right now, well needed. By way of diaspora bonds, you will hear a lot more of that on the press conferences from the political people. This time is a really interesting time. And solar-powered cold storage and irrigation hubs. Now they start talking something that sounds very sensible. Something that we should have had long time ago, not just now, long time ago. Because even when that new building that we call in Central Market in Kingston was being constructed, and those of us who are around would know. Some of us were saying, okay, we're into modern times. What this system needs to support the farmer with now is cool storage for herbs and vegetables, crops that don't have a long shelf life outside of cold storage. So when somebody comes to the market, especially in slow time like these, you come with the lettuce, you come with the celery, you come with these things, and the day so slow that you snoring and sleeping most of the time there because nobody there to buy nothing. Money ain't turning over. Could hold these things at a certain temperature, even overnight, without any big set of cost to them, because the energy is coming from solar. It's the equipment you have to buy, not the energy. The energy is just being collected and transferred to do what it's supposed to do. A place like this which gets sunlight from first cock crow, you could say, second cock crow. Until right now, you're getting sunlight almost up to 7. By the time it reaches June, July, you're getting sunlight all after 7 going minutes to 8. We should be have been investing in solar energy long time ago and using it to assist our smaller agro-industrial base, our large medium-sized agro-industrial base, our food base. So that we would have been way ahead of the curve where we're supposed to be right now. So it's never too late for shower rain, so I would welcome that in the OECS and put your words into action. Okay? Right. And the final decision that was made is governance and monitoring frameworks, establishment of the OECS Food Sovereignty and Reliance Council to oversee implementation efforts and coordinate responses to food crisis. All these things have come out of information and feeding. It is a good thing from programs like these right here on Bayhill and Cancardiradio. Okay? And the need, this one is something that we have been belting on this program for a long time and on my Facebook page. The need for the OECS to fast track the implementation of AFAST, Food and Agriculture Systems Transformation. The need for them to fast track it. Yeah, because I keep saying, and I'm very happy that you're adopting it, that we're saying fast, but we're going slow. SLOW. And slow there is the acronym for same, lackluster, old way. We can't do that. This is no time for reforming anything. This is time for transforming. And talking about transforming is where now I want to brief you on the mission of my brethren, Emmanuel Barrera, could be accompanied by someone else, but I know he is coming representing his business, collective business of trading and selling food between St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Barbados. Other countries were mainly St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Barbados because historically they won't teach you that in school, but you have to find it in their school. But you have to go to the real school to find this. The force trading partner that Urumi had in the region was Barbados. Trading partner by boat. Because Barbados, as you should know, has no running river. For certain times of the years when you have a real dry season, food and wood scarce, and native people there would come over to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Not St. Vincent, Urumi at the time. Spend some time, the able-bodied men and women, collect food, collect planting material, and collect wood and coals and so on, and go forward to Barbados. So we'll be having that trade hundreds of years before the white men came across here. Because he afraid to cross the ocean, eh? All the mouth they got, they're afraid to cross the ocean. Think they would have dropped over some edge and something eat them. Yeah, so they're going to implement that program. They're going to fast track it. And I hope it's done right. Because what is happening now, we're not waiting on them. So my brethren is coming over here on Monday. And I want you to keep tuned to, I'm going to send the information online to Bayhill, and Bayhill will put it out there, and I'm going to put it up on my Facebook page. They haven't hoping to have a meeting with farmers on the same Monday, 2 p.m. The venue, you will get that by later tonight. I'll put it up on the same platform, the venue. We're inviting farmers. We're not leaving it up just to the ministry to invite farmers, because we know we've been working on the ground, and we know that certain really important farmers get leave out of these things for all kind of different reasons. But the reason we meet with the farmers is to get information. This is first part of the what they call the pre-production stage, the marketing stage, gathering marketing intelligence. Who have what ready to supply in certain commodities, and who will have what ready to supply as we go down the road. No, no short term, medium term, and long term. This is not a one-off thing, because this is something that's going long down the road. So even though you're just planning to plant something, you ain't even clean the land yet. You just occupy, you're just getting forward into some land to do some work. This meeting is for you. Stay in touch. Bishop's Facebook page, Clive Bishop. Stay in touch, Bayhill Radio, and you will get the information, because it's happening on Monday. We move from there, develop the contacts. From the contact, we start getting business proposals together, and the real details, I will have the brother tell you about them in an appropriate time, okay? In an appropriate time. The program doesn't allow for it tonight, but just to tell you that that will take place and is taking place this weekend. Positive things are happening. Positive things are happening. Stay in touch. Yes. So we're having this march tomorrow, rally. Well, a rally, not really a march, a rally. Rastafari, St. Vincent Grenadines collectively. And a lot of people already give their support to come out, because anyone who been listening to international news, you just can't miss it. What is happening in Burkina Faso? This young 36-year-old, soon to be 37-year-old leader, who is showing up all the corrupt leaders in Africa and elsewhere, and who the people internationally rallied for on the 30th of April. Leave him alone. All these big, well, they say the governments, but we know what you're saying, that's not the government. These are the politicians. The government hiding behind the politician. The government are the few big people who control the world from their secret societies and all these things. And now that their whole cabal is getting mashed up, because this is the time mystically that good is conquering evil all over earth, can't stop it. And darkness is people moving out of the darkness and stepping in the light, can't stop it. Right? It's happening. happening faster than you think because there's only a certain level which you're seeing. And there's a lot of cover to cover what is really taking place, and you think that the cover is the real thing happening. No. That's just the cover to cover what is really happening. Because the whole earth is going through a purge. Spiritual is a spiritual battle. And good is winning evil all over earth. Don't doubt it. Have to happen for these things to happen. Right? So many things you calling bad might look bad, but they're actually good. Producing good. That is how the mystic works. You have to choose the energy you need to get where you want. So you always have to choose positive energy. It's your choice. So we have in this rally, and I want to big up the people at the front who went with a positive energy, because this thing was only decided on Sunday the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and to be able to get the system to respond so quick, doing what they're really supposed to do, because they don't normally do that, and respond in a positive way, to have the areas needed made available for tomorrow is a great accomplishment. Enough people will be there. We are hailing on the almighty powers for good weather. And I want to say right here, all who coming, walk with a flower or a small bouquet of flowers, bunch of flowers. Very, very important. We're not in any physical battle in them time here. Walk with a flower, whether it's a hibiscus, a hydrangea, a croton leaf, whatever you're talking about, right? You have a lot of these things. That is why you should patronize people like Island Green and visit on a Friday and buy some plants from us. So you could have your own little thing home plant in your garden among your food. You know? Yes. So that is what is going to take place tomorrow. Those in the days to come, those events. The one with the brother, immediately tomorrow, the march, right in the market square between the Central Market in Kingston and facing Vera Building and Bonnie Supermarket there, that area, right? And the meeting with the farmers scheduled for next Monday, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Yes, where lots of business things will be trashed out in a friendly environment. 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., 1 hour rather. 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. is tomorrow. 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. For the farmers meeting. And important decisions will be taken there. So with all that having been said, I could see right now that we the people who have been dreaming of brighter days. Dreams of brighter days. And we're going forward. And we're going forward at Busy Signal, final Tuesday night.
These are the things I see right in front of me. As I open my eyes, oh, I give thanks to life. Oh, yes, as the days go by, yeah, out comes the sun, shining on my face again. Grades get me high so I can meditate. Oh, dreams of brighter days. Highest grades we blaze. Dreams of brighter days. Giving
giving thanks as the days goes by, giving thanks and praise. As I puff on my window and glance through my window, I realize there's no turning back. Got to complete life's journey, though things get contrary. Got to make it to the top. See, I'm searching for a way to survive. Working so hard, I know job will provide. See, I'm keeping my head high. Mama tell me the limit is the sky. Dreams of brighter days, highest grades we blaze, dreams of brighter days, giving thanks, as the days goes by, giving thanks and praise. Big burden everybody, still a chug weary, but no what's his true face where we have on. Real soldiers keep standing, now give up the fight. No, the sun will shine tomorrow. We shall see the rainbow, and I will never let go. No, dreams of brighter days, highest grades we blaze, dreams of brighter days, giving thanks, as the days goes by, giving thanks and praise. Out comes the sun, shining on my face again.
Yes, and with that, we make our exodus out of here until next week, Tuesday, the 20th. So stay strong, plant something, put something in the earth, and support Bayhill Radio and Cancardiradio. Exodus. Join your host, Ross Bishai, for Stepping into the Light at Bayhill Online Radio and Cancardiradio. Ross Bishai steps into the light of food and agriculture, culture and liberty. Stepping into the light lifts the level of your self-consciousness, activates your collective security genetic code, raises your earthly vibrations. Winning this Armageddon, you must listen to Stepping into the Light with host Ross Bishai.